Forward conference.
Forward youth conference.
Forward conference.
Forward conference.
Forward conference.
Forward conference.
Forward conference. Go Fuego.
The event that we went to last weekend was Forward.
The conference was about identity and callings.
It was about growing a relationship with God.
And it tied them both together so well through the different messages, even through the games. It was just, everything was about them just uniting themselves, lifting themselves up.
Jensen Franklin, I really enjoyed his message. He talked about giving up plan B and really going headfirst into your faith.
I feel like you can grow closer with the people there, and you can grow closer to God, and you can just build healthy relationships with God-fearing people, which we all need in our lives.
I had really low expectations. I didn't think I was gonna actually get anything from it. I was scared to go. It was the last sermon, and Uncle Reggie was preaching, and at the very end we were worshiping. There was these guys behind me, and they didn't really worshiping. And I guess the Holy Spirit got them, and this guy started crying, and everyone started praying over each other, and it was just a really beautiful moment. So the Holy Spirit was there, and people were just praying and crying, and it was amazing. I want to get closer to God. This is a really good way, because I feel like when I went, I wasn't really close to God. I mean, I was, but not how I am now. When I finally went there, I feel like I realized Him and kind of what He wants for me.
It was a lot of worship, a lot of prayer, and spiritually it was very active.
Maddie Pruitt-Trout gave this amazing message in one of the morning sessions, actually. She really just spoke about the things that we let disconnect us from God, and the things that we let distract us or make us feel shame, and just these things that we can overcome. And she gave practical steps, which I love practical messages. She gave practical steps on how to overcome those and how to move forward in the freedom that He's given us. Surrendering my own fears and my own discomfort. It was definitely a little overwhelming at first, because I can get a little overwhelmed with a lot of lights and stuff like that. But in the moment that I just decided not to focus on all of that and really just be present, and everyone, the 13,000 other people in the room disappeared, and it was just me and God.
The one that I liked the most was Maddie Trout, I think her name was. Maddie Trout, yeah. The main thing that she was trying to get to in her message was that we don't get salvation we don't get to Jesus by ourselves, but through Him working in us. I've been having, because I feel before the conference, I was wasn't talking to Him that much, wasn't really thanking Him or anything, and now I feel I've been doing better at it.
It was very special to me, and it was really impactful, and I felt like I needed to do more for God. Pretty much what I would say is, you're missing out if you don't go. If you came in heavy, you're gonna come out light, like in the song.
So there was one, Jensen Franklin. He really stood out to me because he talked about cutting ropes of insecurities and sin. I known this youth group for quite a while now, so I was safe around them, but with other people, I thought I was gonna get a little anxious. In the conference, in worship, I usually don't raise my hands because I don't feel comfortable doing that, but I did it, and I felt just really relieved, and I felt freedom.
Well, I thought it was gonna be kind of calm in a way. It was gonna be church that we have.
Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went in with the expectation of everything being well kept together, and everything being adult church, and everything calm and quiet.
The first night, it was a concert for God. It was everybody was jumping and just having that fire, having that energy.
The last day in the last session, the worship on the last day was probably my favorite. It was by Reggie Dabbs, and he was talking about testimonies about different kids that he's seen all across America. And I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and I can do great things for God myself.
It's super impactful on their life, and it can lead you to a better experience and relationship with God.
During worship, like the last day, and it was Carrie Job and Cody Carnes, and Carrie just got so overwhelmed with the Holy Spirit that she just like fell on the ground, and like she didn't even sing all the songs she was supposed to. And at one point she just went behind her and grabbed like this massive flag that said holy, holy, holy on it, and started like swinging it around, and man, it was like great. Another time, this one, like the first night, there was a pastor speaking about how like Jesus rose from the dead, like he is risen. Get it? Like W Riz. But me and Josh both wrote like risen on our hands. It's pretty cool. Go and just ask the Lord just to meet you. Like just lock eyes with him. Like I think it's a thing where like, yeah, it's a big crowd and it's a little crowded. Like you feel a little bit claustrophobic sometimes. But like when the Lord hits, he hits. And all you just need to do is say like, Lord, just like blur out everything else and do your thing in me. Like work in me, show me how you can change me, what you want to do in me. And then God will do what he needs to do. Like, man, it's crazy. You'd think that it won't be personal, but really it's the most intimate thing. Like just hearing those words and letting it sink in, so good. It's great.
The idea of when we come back from conference is always to stay in the momentum what we build up. So I would say as we go out through this, finish off this year and go out through this next year, as you see our youth in and amongst around everything we're doing in the church and through the church, you're going to see heavily involved in those areas. I would say include them and reach out to them and lift them up. We just thank you that we can rely on our church to help us get there in any way we can.